Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 22nd of July 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite. Unfortunately, I was unable to watch NXT tonight. Usually I'm able to watch both shows at the same time, have multiple screens and stuff, but where I was tonight during Dynamite, I only had a single screen, so I could only watch Dynamite. So that's why we're only reviewing Dynamite tonight. Nick and I are supposed to be doing the Hangout stream tomorrow, the normal Tuesday stream tomorrow. So maybe we'll do a quick NXT review during that as well tomorrow. We'll figure it all out. We'll bring you guys some NXT content, but tonight is all about AEW Dynamite. Also, before we get into that, I do want to thank you guys for helping us get to the affiliate level here on Twitch. With the affiliate level, that means you guys can now support us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. You can now either subscribe to our channel or you can donate bits to our channel as well. But remember, here's the kicker. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime. And if you have Twitch Prime, you get to subscribe to any one channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And it doesn't cost you anything else if you're already paying for Amazon Prime. Whether that's Amazon Prime through their website for shipping, or that's Amazon Prime so you get Amazon Prime Video. Whatever way you have Amazon Prime, then you have Twitch Prime, which gives you one free subscription on Twitch to any channel you want to sub to, any channel you want to support. And I would greatly appreciate it if you supported us here on PWUnlimited. I do want to thank one of our new subscribers. We do have Dtrix42 who has subscribed here on Twitch. I do want to thank him. Appreciate that. But, well, let's get into it and talk about some AEW Dynamite. Actually, BFG in the chat has a good question here. And I'm gonna hit on that first. So there was a big announcement on NXT tonight. We're going to talk about that for a minute. And that announcement was that Keith Lee is no longer the NXT North American champion. He is only the NXT champion. They will be holding a tournament to get a new champion. There will be triple threat matches taking place for the next couple of weeks leading up until TakeOver on the 22nd of August. The winners of these triple threat matches will then advance to a ladder match at TakeOver, and then the winner of the ladder match will become the new NXT North American champion. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So you did the double title match for nothing. I mean, I get it wasn't technically for nothing, but at the same time, it was for nothing. It was for nothing. Here's the reason I say that. You got Keith Lee as now the double champion. And you just take one of those titles off of him and now he's just a champion? There was no reason for him to be the double champion. I mean, freaking, what's his name? Karrion Kross did an interview with Pro Wrestling Sheet and said, I want both of those titles. I want to beat Keith Lee for both titles. And then what happened? Well, he's probably going to only get a shot for one of those titles, the NXT title. But I think this was a bad move by WWE, especially this quickly. Especially to do it this soon. To take the one title off of Keith Lee. And I know they did a video where Keith Lee said, I don't need to have both titles, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, whatever. But I don't like the fact that they took the title off Keith Lee. I don't like it at all. I think he should have kept both belts. At least for a little while. And we'll talk about this more tomorrow with Nick. Get his thoughts and everything. But I don't like it. The ladder match should be fun if they get the right guys in that ladder match. And I assume Triple H will get the right guys in that ladder match. He's not going to be like Vince and just book whoever. But with that, let's talk about AEW Dynamite and another time where I was a little disappointed tonight. So the show kicks off immediately. Tony Schiavone walks into the show, says, I'm back, and then sends it to the ring. So we got the TNT title match. Cody's in the ring, gets introduced, and then out would come Eddie Kingston for the open challenge. And here's the thing. They were hyping this up as a top independent star. I get it. Eddie Kingston is one of the more popular guys, one of the more well-known guys on the independent scene. But when you think top independent star, I could think of 10 guys before I even think of Eddie Kingston. I would have never expected Eddie Kingston. And this is what Moxley was talking about yesterday on the Dan Le Batard show on ESPN Radio about how, there's going to be a kick-ass match that hardcore fans are going to love. And casual fans may not get it at first, but at the end, they're going to love the match. And the match itself was really good. It was a no DQ match for the TNT title. But Eddie Kingston, that was your big surprise? I don't know about that one, Mr. Tony Khan. I don't know. I mean, he's good and all. But I wouldn't call him a top independent star. I mean, I could see where people could think maybe. But like I said, I could think of 10 guys before I think of Eddie Kingston. So Eddie Kingston came out up on the stage and cut a promo. He said that Cody talks about grinding, but doesn't know what the real grind is. Basically did the Cody grew up with the silver spoon gimmick thing, where Cody grew up around this stuff. He grew up around Hall of Famers and legends and blah, blah, blah. I grew up around alcoholics and junkies and really had to grind for everything that I've got. He said Cody likes to buddy up with Tony Khan, but Khan paid him to kick Cody's ass tonight. Kingston then said, I talked to Tony Khan. Tony Khan told me if you agree, this will be no DQ. Or else you're an egg-sucking dog or an egg-sucking bitch. So Cody goes over to the ref and goes, I accept, no DQ. So the match is no DQ. The match itself began on the floor where Kingston ripped off Cody's shirt and hit him with some chops. They rolled inside to break the referee's count. Cody got some offense and went for a disaster kick. Kingston rolled to the outside. The fight continued there. Kingston whipped Cody with his own weight belt. Kingston exposed the concrete floor, teased a pile driver, but hit a backdrop. They exchanged strikes back in the ring. Kingston then put Cody in a chinlock to slow down the pace. Cody hit some kicks to the legs, and Kingston sold his knee. Kingston used a stretch plum. Kingston raked the eyes. Cody hit a chop block on the left leg of Kingston. Kingston came back with a low blow. Remember, no DQ. Kingston emptied a bag of thumbtacks in the center of the ring here. Cody teased a vertebraker, and Kingston dropped him on the tacks with a spine buster. Cody connected with the back suplex and did the tacks. Cody then hit a series of strikes and locked on a figure four. Kingston had to tap. So I thought they had a good brawl, a nice way to open up the show. The match itself was fun. I'll give it that. It was nice and fun. Maybe even as far as saying it was pretty good. But I just don't know about Eddie Kingston. The way they teased this and hyped this up. But Cody does retain the championship yet again. Now the question really is, who the hell's going to beat Cody? Who's going to beat Cody for this mother-loving title? I mean, the only thing I could think of is Darby Allin finally gets that win on Cody, and it's for the title. Because Darby Allin's due to get that big win on Cody. I think Cody's beaten 2, maybe even 3 times now. Maybe it's only 2. So the announcers previewed the rest of the card, and they threw it to a Jon Moxley promo. So Moxley said, in a business where everyone is full of it, he prides himself on telling the truth. He said that he promised to tear up Brian Cage's arm. He said he felt ligaments and tendons popping in the arm, but Taz got his vote for Manager of the Year for throwing in that towel to help out Cage. Moxley said he was disappointed that he didn't pop Cage's bicep like a water balloon, but next time he won't let go. Well, they basically teased that Moxley and the Moxley and Cage stuff isn't over, which it's not. They're going to fight next week. MJF cut a promo. He introduced his opponent, Griff Garrison, as Jungle Man. If you haven't been watching BTE, there's basically a bit going on that everybody thinks Griff Garrison is actually Jungle Boy. People walk up to him from behind and they go, "Hey, Jungle Boy." I'm not Jungle Boy. I'm Griff Garrison. So MJF asked Garrison how he felt to be in the ring with an undefeated man. Garrison asked if MJF lost the tag match at Fyter Fest. MJF hit a right hand and the bell rang. So there was this is basically an extended squash match that went through a commercial. During the match, MJF grabbed a mic and made Garrison say that he was undefeated. MJF finally won with the Heat Seeker. Not much to the match other than he beat down Griff Garrison. Tony Schiavone was with Rebel backstage. Britt Baker called them into her locker room. Baker unveiled her fourth rule of being a role model, which is to never count out a role model. Baker said that she was poised to make a great comeback like Michael Jordan did with the Wizards. Schiavone and Revel bantered about Jordan. Baker said that she's on the comeback trail to All Out. It looks like we're going to get Baker versus Big Swole at All Out. That's what it looks like it's going to be. Taz and Brian Cage were in the ring for a promo. Taz said that he and Cage had a difficult week. He said Moxley put a badass armbar on Cage, and Taz made a business decision to throw in the towel last week. Taz said that he will never put his client, or I don't think he said client, but he'll never put Cage in a position to be hurt. Taz said if he needs to throw in the towel again, he will. He said that he's torn his bicep not once but twice and knows how bad that is and doesn't want the same thing to happen to Cage. He said Cage would have never tapped. And that's why he's the FTW champion, because he's got an FTW mindset. He'll never give up. That is why I had to do it for him. Darby Allin would then enter the ring, but Ricky Starks attacked Allin from behind. Now, if you didn't see AEW Dark yesterday, they basically aligned Ricky Starks with Brian Cage and Taz. Cage hit Allin with a powerbomb on the stage and another in the ring. Starks held Allin up while Cage grabbed Allin's skateboard. Moxley ran in for the save with a barbed wire baseball bat. Cage and Starks bailed. They put over on commentary that Allin saved Moxley last week, so Moxley returned the favor this week. Remember, guys, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Remember, that is 510-906-1341. The number is in the live chat and should be scrolling across the screen periodically throughout the night. So Alex Marvez interviewed Chris Jericho. Jericho said, "What color's my jacket?" And Marvez is like, orange? He goes, "Yeah, what color is it supposed to be?" It's supposed to be white. He said it cost him $7,000, and Orange Cassidy ruined it. He said he's going to ruin Orange Cassidy's career. Jericho cut a promo now. Jericho continued the promo, cutting it on Jurassic Express. He said Marco's stunt has a bulbous head, and that Luchasaurus isn't really a dinosaur. Back at ringside, the announcer said that there would be a tag team tournament in the women's division this summer. 16 women. 8 teams. A cup. A tag team tournament cup, or however they phrased it. But there will be a women's tag team tournament this summer in AEW. They did not state exactly when it's going to start, but at the same time, they didn't state anything about women's tag team titles. I would assume if they're doing a tournament, the tournament's going to not just crown a tournament winner, but champions. I would assume. So, I'm just going to go off of that and say maybe there is going to be women's tag titles. I do know that there were supposed to be 6-man tag team titles, and they were going to hold a tournament on the Jericho Cruise in February to crown those 6-man tag team titles, or champions. But I don't know when that's going to happen now, since the Jericho Cruise has been pushed back from February to October of next year. But Kenny Omega did state that one of the plans, he did state recently, one of the plans for the company is to have 6-man tag titles. So, we'll see where that all does go. Next up, we got the Falls Count Anywhere tag team match. The Young Bucks versus the Butcher and the Blade. And, well, the match started in the kitchen. Because the Butcher was butchering, I guess you can say. The match began with a brawl in the kitchen. Like I stated, they brawled onto a concourse into the adjoining football stadium. Butcher and Blade tried to use a cart, but failed. They brawled around a trailer, and the trailer had a sign inside that read, "Mud Show Tonight." Nick hit a knee strike into a cookie sheet on the Butcher's face. They set Blade up for an Escalero before the break. They brawled into the arena and set up some tables. The Bucks teased a double suplex on Butcher through a table, but he reversed it and suplexed them on the floor. Blade went for a tope over the top, but crashed and burned, and this was bad. So I can't remember which Buck it was, but one of the Bucks was leaned up against a table that was leaned up against the guardrail. And Blade goes to dive, and he's supposed to dive through the table, you would assume. The Buck moves, and instead, Blade just misses the table almost all completely. I think he maybe hit his head on the table. I'm not 100% sure, but it didn't look good. He crashed and burned big time. Butcher. Wait, actually, I think it was Matt that was on the table. Blade was supposed to crash through. Nick was on the other table. I wrote Nick here on the other table, so I assume it was Matt. And Butcher hit a crossbody on Nick through the table. Barely cracked that table because they hit that crossbody way too low. With Blade still down, the Bucks hit some tandem offense on Butcher in the ring. Matt used a sharpshooter while Nick applied a crossface and Blade made the save. Butcher and Blade hit a powerbomb neckbreaker combo on Matt on the stage. Nick made the save, and the Bucks hit Blade with a BTE trigger. They set up the Butcher and the Blade on two tables. They then climbed to the top of the Titantrons, I guess you could say, or the entrance spheres. The circles they enter from. They climbed to the top of those. Nick would hit a swanton. Matt would hit an elbow, crashing through both Butcher and the Blade on some tables. Then they went for the pin. Simultaneously, 1, 2, 3, the Young Bucks pick up the victory. I thought the final spot where they both dove off the top was a very cool looking spot. Again, Nick hit the swanton. Matt hit the elbow, and it just looked good coming off. So, hey, I'm not complaining. I actually thought this match was really, really fun and really, really good. Alex Marvez was backstage, and he caught up with Jake Roberts and Lance Archer. Marvez asked, well, Archer, why weren't you at Fight for the Fallen last week? Archer then grabbed Marvez and pulled him into a locker room where he started just beating the crap out of people. He even grabbed one guy and lifted him up so high that his head hit the ceiling and one of the ceiling tiles crashed down. Archer said that when he's good and ready, everybody dies. I think one guy even got stuffed in a trash can. Next up, we saw Diamante versus Ivelisse. Big Swole cut an inset promo from her home in Orlando, basically just saying that Britt Baker better watch out. Ivelisse opened the matchup with some strikes in the corner. They brawled outside and traded chops. They continued trading chops back in the ring. Ivelisse used a powerbomb for a near fall. The finish then came kind of out of nowhere as Ivelisse hit the ropes. Then Diamante followed this up with a cradle for the pin. 1, 2, 3. I was shocked that Diamante picked up the victory and it wasn't Ivelisse winning. I expected they would push Ivelisse and give her the victory. I really didn't care for the match either way, though. I thought the match was just so in there. So next up, we got Hangman Page taking on 5 of the Dark Order.
I'm not sure.
Okay, Alexa. It's going to go off again. All right, never mind. I didn't even say anything and it went off. 5 of the Dark Order, who's actually Alan Angle. Alan Angles. Page opened this match up with some strikes and a big boot. Dark Order came out on the stage before a commercial break. Dark Order's presence seemed to inspire Angles, who worked Page over during the break. Page made a comeback with a rolling elbow for a near fall. Page then hit a powerbomb and used a stacked cover on 5 for the pin. So, Hangman wins, and Mr. Brody Lee, along with Colt Cabana, joined the Dark Order on the stage. So, I'm under the impression Colt is in the Dark Order. Lee then would walk down to the ring. Lee told Page that he's been nothing but impressed with Page, and he's not impressed with the lack of friends, the lack of help that Page has when he's in danger. Lee said, we can be those friends. We can be that protection. Page said he appreciated the compliments, but he isn't ready to join a cult. Lee told Page that he just made his bed and hopes he enjoys his sleep. Lee and Cabana left. Dark Order then attacked Page. FTR would run in with a cooler and made the save. Omega then ran down, but not until FTR had already cleared the ring. FTR offered Page a beer. He accepted while Omega just looked on. Well, there's something going on here. I don't know what the end game is with all this FTR, Kenny Omega, Hangman stuff, but maybe, just maybe, it's going to lead to FTR challenging them for the titles. Kenny think that maybe Hangman is more loyal to FTR and more friends with FTR, like friendlier with FTR, and not trust him enough to where they lose the titles. That's the way I see this going. We got some info for next week. Omega and Page will be defending those tag team titles against Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Hikaru Shida will take on Diamante in a non-title match. We will get a Tornado tag team match. Darby Allin will be teaming with AEW champion Jon Moxley to take on Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. And, well, Cody will be defending the TNT Championship next week. No challenger announced. So as we move forward, we've got our main event. The main event was Chris Jericho and Jake Hager taking on Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. At one point in this match, JR called Luchasaurus a dragon, and then about 30 seconds later, someone must have said something in his headset where he just goes, a dinosaur. Just randomly, he just goes, a dinosaur. I was like, oh, someone corrected him. So this match was fun with a lot of great action. Jericho and Jungle Boy started it off. Jericho gave Jungle Boy a lot of offense early, but they tagged out. Hager and Luchasaurus entered and just fired haymakers at each other. Big Hoss sequence. Jericho cut Luchasaurus off with a low drop kick. Hager continued working on Luchasaurus' legs. Jungle Boy got a tag and hit a dive on Santana and Ortiz on the floor. Marco Stunt interfered behind the referee's back. Jungle Boy hit a springboard flatliner on Jericho, only got a 2 off of it. Jericho at one point hit a right hand on Stunt, knocking him off the apron. Jericho worked Jungle Boy over through a commercial break. After the break, Jericho teased a superplex. Jungle Boy fought it off and hit a high cross off the top for a 2. Hager tagged in and worked on Jungle Boy's left arm. Jungle Boy came back with up kicks as they teased the hot tag. Hager knocked Luchasaurus off the apron. Jericho brought a baseball bat into the ring. Referee Aubrey Edwards forced Jericho to drop the bat. Jungle Boy caught Jericho in a cradle and got a 2 off of it. Jungle Boy hit a lariat into a double down. Jericho made a tag and Hager cut Jungle Boy off. A little bit later in the match, Jungle Boy hit a double DDT on both Hager and Jericho and finally made the tag. Luchasaurus ran in with some wild strikes. Everyone then jumped in and Santana and Ortiz distracted the ref. Marco Stunt hit a missile drop kick on Jericho into a thrust kick by Luchasaurus for a near fall. Luchasaurus hit a roundhouse kick on Jericho for another near fall. Santana jumped on the apron. Jungle Boy hit a flying head scissors off the apron onto Santana and Ortiz. Someone in a Serpentico mask hit Luchasaurus with the baseball bat on the apron. Jericho then hit the code breaker and pinned Luchasaurus for the victory. After the match, the masked man unveiled that he is none other than Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is back. Inner Circle continued beating down Jurassic Express as Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends would come out to make the save. Best Friends, Orange, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus versus Jericho, Guevara, Hager, Santana, and Ortiz was announced for next week. We got a huge 10-man tag team match next week on Dynamite. They announced that as the show went off the air. That should be really, really fun. I'm really excited to see where that match does go. Especially we've got the Orange Cassidy, Jericho stuff still continuing. So, hey, it's been entertaining while we've had it. So with that was AEW Dynamite. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. And I'd actually rate it an 8 out of 10. I really thought it was that good this week. I really enjoyed. Other than being a little disappointed with Eddie Kingston being the surprise, I thought the match itself was good. So I can't knock the match, even though I was a little, I guess you could say, upset with it being Eddie Kingston. But in the end, I was like, well, you know what? They gave us a pretty damn good match with Eddie Kingston. So again, I can't be too upset with that. But with that, that was AEW Dynamite. Do have some text messages here I want to read. Remember, you can text in to 510-906-1341. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, text in to 510-906-1341. This person says, do you think they brought Sammy Guevara back too soon from his suspension? Where is Jimmy Havoc? So here's the thing. The suspensions of Jimmy Havoc and Sammy Guevara are completely different because they were for completely different reasons. Also, I believe Jimmy Havoc went into some sort of a rehab, and I don't know if he's finished the rehab or not. As far as Guevara was suspended. I'm going to tell you exactly how many days. Sammy Guevara suspended. So Guevara was suspended for... Let's see. Guevara was suspended for exactly 1 month. June 22nd to July 22nd. So he had a 1 month suspension, and I'm cool with that. A 1 month suspension for the things that he had said. I guess it's okay. I know some may say, oh, it should have been longer. But I think it's all right. This person says, when do you think Pac will be back? Pac ain't coming back till people can travel into the States again. That's the thing. He can't travel into the States. He can't work any of their shows. I know Tony Khan last week did an interview where he said that he can't wait to have Pac back because he's actually got a number of ideas for Pac and what he wants to do with him. Finally, this last text message. This person is asking when we're going to do the NXT review. We're going to do the NXT review tomorrow on the Thursday show. I'm going to do with Nick because we didn't do a Tuesday show. So with that, guys, that's going to do it for tonight's edition of the AEW Dynamite review. I want to thank everybody for joining me here on Twitch, twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. I want to thank Broken King Slender for the bits, the donations. That really does help. And guys, if you want to support us here on Twitch, you can do so by subscribing. And remember, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime. And if you have Twitch Prime, you can subscribe to us absolutely free, no extra charge to you. If you don't use it, if you don't do it, then that's just money going to waste. Money in your pocket going to waste. So again, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining us here on Twitch to talk about AEW Dynamite. We'll see you live again tomorrow night right here at twitch.tv/PWUnlimited.